want you to know this, along with everything else that I produce in terms of these live presentations, are mostly drawing not only from research and reading, but personal experience. And since we're all human and we have neuropathy, or we think we have neuropathy, we pretty much are going to experience the same things. So, you know, even if it's not exactly spot on, forget about the cause. We've talked about that often, and it doesn't really matter what the cause is unless it's a real short-term cause as opposed to a personal disability, or a permanent disability. Excuse me, I just trumped. And we're going to have the same sensations. So what I'm sharing with you is coming from me, obviously. As I get comfortable here, I need my little coccyx to fit right into this chair. What we feel is ours. It's real. Other people can identify with feeling similarly, but not exactly. And there is a tendency, unless we are alone, for our partners and spouses to want us not to be in pain, to want to figure out ways to fix it. Especially men. Men have got to fix it. You're going to be literally pushing uncomfortable buttons for your male partner. I'm going to get onto that in a little bit. Permanent disability. Those of us who have neuropathy can consider ourselves, whether the government, your physician, or you yourself want to, you can consider yourself permanently disabled. How do I know this? Because everything I read, and if you read about what we deal with, everything that you read, like that voice squeak, eventually should lead you to the realization that your DNA has been altered. And you can't re-alter it back. And that altering is what makes our condition, it's not a disease, what makes our condition incurable at this point in the world. But thankfully, its symptoms are reversible. So, be that clear and upfront. It's not necessarily a bad thing to be permanently disabled. Hey, I would not have chosen it 12 years ago. I would not have chosen it sooner or earlier. I figured, beginning with my 40th birthday a month prior, beginning with a month prior to my 40th birthday, I began to consume a shit sandwich that would somehow or another lead me to be continuing to consume a shit sandwich. Those of you who haven't read my story, I had a heart attack and double bypass for my 40th birthday 20 years ago. I will be 60. Let me get rid of these. I will be 60 in the end of August. So I knew that life was going to become more difficult from that point forward. That's also when they said, hey, you're a type 2 diabetic. And that was just a flat out statement and condemnation. My blood sugar was 168. And when your blood sugar is 168 and you've been active, healthy, and otherwise just fine and just had a heart attack and bypass surgery, that sort of sounds borderline to you. So that's where I was. And then all of the prescription drugs being dumped on me, not just because of that, but we need to feed you cholesterol-lowering medications because you've had a heart attack and bypass surgery. You don't have high blood pressure, but we need to feed you blood pressure medications because we need to protect your grafts. And so, literally, I was slowly starting to spin downward. So I would not have chosen the ultimate of where we are today, neuropathy, 20 years ago, and I wouldn't have known really that that could be where I was heading. But I certainly did learn how to deal with pain and how to push through it. And I joke, hey, I'm on my third marriage. Of course I can deal with pain. But it's also that whole mind over matter thing. If you are faced with it and forced to deal with it, then you learn coping mechanisms to push through it. No matter what you do, don't ever stop in your tracks, decompensate, and feel sorry for yourself. Is there a positive outcome from that? I'm not going to say don't ever cry, because everybody needs a good cry every once in a while, and there is a positive outcome from that. If you cop a defeatist attitude, then you are doing yourself and everyone who cares about you and your frame of mind, peace of mind, and quality of life a great disservice. That I give up attitude is a spiraling descent down a dark black hole from which there is not usually any return from, not with any positive results. You can stay on the edge of that black hole and look in. You better realize that when you look in, there's nothingness in there. It's not a pool party down at the bottom of that. There are no cocktail weenies there. That is the end of the light. What is light? What is sunshine? Life. Simple. Okay, so we aren't what we were. The more active you are and the more things that you did that brought you comfort prior to your diagnosis, the more I can imagine, as I do with myself, the pressure builds in the thought of, wow, I can't do that anymore. How horrible is that? If you dwell on that shit will bring you down. Don't dwell on it. That's your choice. It's your choice to say, that was a chapter in my life that was amazing. I like to use the terms, I had a great run. I haven't stopped. I am by no means completely healthy. I have accepted that I am personally disabled, not just because I can get into public parks, but because I can't do the things that I'd like to do. Yet, I still put myself in a position where I have to perform. Walking. You don't cash in your physical chips until they cannot function even with mechanical assistance. The things that we are capable of doing not only affect us, but they affect others. And being able to push straight through the worst moments make a difference. They make a difference for you. They make a difference for those around you. I push through it. I push through it because I have more amazing times to have in my life, and neuropathy is not going to get in the way or hold me back. Pushing yourself over the limit is something we're going to do naturally because we didn't used to have limits. We now have to recognize our limits. That doesn't mean we give up and we don't try and attain those again. We just have to pace ourselves. It's your body. It's your pain. It is real. How are you going to deal with it? What's causing it? Are you causing it? Are you helping it to hang around and linger longer than it needs to?
We are houseplants. We require water, sunshine, and nutrition to thrive. Healing does not discriminate. If your body is prepared to do its work, it doesn't really care what work needs to be done, and it only has one place of employment. It works full-time, overtime, and requires the simplest mix of compensation, the greatest component of which is your frame of mind. As for rolling back your symptoms and restoring your quality of life, the protocol works. To find out how the Protocol 525 can change your life, join Solutions to Peripheral Neuropathy Pain and Discomfort, a Facebook support group. To access more videos from our Protocol Learning Series archive, visit facebook.com/groups/SPNPD.